Hey, this is Necrobutcher from Mayhem. You're watching Metal Shop TV. It was Telok came up with the title. He had written, I think it was 8 songs. Many of them were in the same context as the title album, also the title of the album. And since I didn't write it, and he did, I can't go into too much details, but it was something he said about going a little bit old school, with that, and so his 8 songs are connected. And then luckily we also had the chance to contribute. So Attila wrote the lyric, I wrote the lyric, and Hellhammer wrote also a lyric for the album. And that's yeah, of course, Attila also arranged the vocal arrangements. Some of them were directed by Telok. I tried to direct the one lyric I had, but you know how to, when you it's better to give artists more freedom to express themselves, and if you tell them anything, then they will maybe don't feel as free, and so I kind of regret that. It turned out great, but yeah. Not so much more to say than that this album is, first of all, I'm extremely proud of it. It's our best album since 2004. Production is great. We have our front of house guy, been with us for many years now. He produced and recorded the album. So everything came together really nice. The artwork, what can I say? Just fantastic artwork. And and also the last 2 albums have not been, how to say, maybe not so live friendly, more technical, maybe better to listen home type of music, while this album is a little bit more live friendly. And because of that, I was looking forward to start a tour with this album, and now we started the world tour. We are on our 16th gig here in Prague now, and we'll continue for the next 2.5 years to finish the world. It's about 200 concerts in about 60 countries that has to be covered. That's a very common question I have from journalists. And so there must be something to it. I think that both Gul and Telok, after being on the road for 3 years with this album, might have been subconsciously also, I don't think they intended it to sound like that, but it may have kind of influenced them in some way, and I don't really see that. I don't really see it myself. Maybe it's just because I'm in the middle of it. But like I said, it's the best album we did in 16 years. And if you compare it to Mysterious Dawn Satanas, one of our proudest moments, I would just say thank you. Every track is special on this album. I love them all. Some have parts which I particularly like. Some have lyrics I particularly like. This song you referred to is a great song, and it's actually picked by a producer. He wanted to do it. He wanted that song. And for his artistic freedom, we gave him that song, basically. It could have been any of the others. So it's more random. It's coincident that that song ended up as the video, and like you said, we never made any videos before, and that's mainly because every time we come to the stage where we release an album and we want to, or we start to think about video, and then we are 4 or 5. We have been 4 in the band, now we are 5. We all have different ideas about how it's supposed to be done, and then end, because we could never agree on anything. So this time we had some external producer who did it. And I know Telok was there to oversee the video shooting, but other than that, I actually don't know. We gave them artistic freedom, and to tell you the truth, I haven't even seen it myself yet. I've been very busy on tour, and I have a sleeping disorder, and just trying to survive. The 2 previous records, let's take Ordo Ad Chao first. Written by Blasphemer, the whole thing. Of course, some drum arrangements made by Hellhammer, some vocal arrangements made by Attila, but it's basically a one-man thing. And same thing happened with this Historic Warfare. It's Telok wrote the album. I think that's what differs the most this time, is that everybody was in on it, and when recording it, I had the feeling that it sounded like live in studio suddenly, like back from in the 80s. So that's the biggest difference I can see myself on the last 3 albums, yes. I never evaluated where I am or what I'm doing. I just do what's natural for me, and what was natural for me was to start a band when I was 10 years old, 12 years old. I had my first concert when I was 13. Started Mayhem when I was 16. So never stopped to think about anything in this kind of ways. Just did what felt natural to me and what was necessary to do. That's basically what I can say about that. There is thousands of albums being made, and there's so much music. And I'm a big music fan. Music is my life. I wake up in the morning to music. I go to bed in the night to music. I have different moods. I have car music. I have washing up music. I have party music, making love music, anything. music to everything. And when you say, am I still connected with the black metal, or you know, am I still underground? Do I follow what's going on in the black metal scene? I listen to everything that I have time for, but to tell you the truth, a lot of the music I listen to is my old records that I have personal feelings for, and won't suddenly feel urged to listen to Left Hand Path from Entombed, or you know, could be anything. Could be Ministry, could be Depeche Mode, could be Rolling Stones, even Beastie Boys. Now I'm just mentioning some of my favorite bands. When it comes to the newer, darker metal, some of these people, we have opening acts. And this is a good way for me to get to know new bands personally, because we travel with them, and also by seeing their shows. Because you have to sacrifice a little bit, especially for complex music, you have to sacrifice to be able to understand the music, especially if it's fast, hard, and let's say noisy. And you have to give it some spins. You have to listen to it several times, and to give an artist the possibility is rarer and rarer, because I have hundreds of favorite albums that I rather listening to than ordering music that I don't know. But I'm recommended a lot of music that I do listen to. And I have some people who knows me. So when they call me and say, hey, I got a great album, you have to listen to this. And then sometimes I find new music in this way. So it's basically like that. I'm following, kinda, I think, you know, but not like back in the days where we had this, when the metal was young, and we were going to I remember there was a company from Sweden called Zip. We ordered, just by the name of the band, like Bulldozer. That sounds pretty cool. Voivod, that sounds pretty cool too. So we ordered these albums, Day of Wrath, you know, and War and Pain, just to mention two albums, become two of my favorite albums ever. So this is the way we did it back in the days. Today also some bands do covers from Mayhem, and and send me their cover versions, which I really appreciate. To hear other musicians take on our music, that gives me a kick, and that opens up also a passage into me listening to a new band. Like, for example, there's some new bands from Estonia, there's some new bands from Belgium that covered Mayhem, which I would never have probably found if they didn't contact me to ask permission to record one of the songs I have written. I can't really say, there's so much, and that's why I started to write books about it, because so many people put out actual lies, sometimes to make themselves look better, for historical reasons, and stuff like that, or it could be people remember wrong. People even have false memories. So my comrades I played with in my band has, I mean, like, for example, we are sitting down in a bar or whatever, and we're talking, and they say something like, yeah, this and this happened, and they look at me and they say, hey, isn't that right, Jørn? And I'm like, well, you know what, it's not exactly how I remember it. And this is a way to say, well, you're full of bullshit. Well, since this is not a sunshine story, I never liked the fact that anybody should come in and make movies, especially if they didn't contact us first and didn't care about any details or just and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of documentaries been made, and so I was very skeptical, as always. And I can tell you right away that first time I heard about this Lords of Chaos movie was Rolling Stone magazine called me in the morning. There's a time difference in LA and Norway, 9 hours. So I'm a little bit grumpy in the morning sometimes, and so they say, yeah, what about this movie, Lords of Chaos? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But just tell these people, tell Hollywood to go fuck themselves. And they say, can we quote you on that? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So it started out that way, and then I met the producer. Jonas Åkerlund turned out to be the old drummer of old favorite band of mine, Bathory. And a great guy, and a movie geek, and you know, made great videos for all the bands. And so I got actually a little bit curious about what a guy like that could do with the story, because he had some preferences. He was in Sweden when it happened, so he followed the media also. But the problem for me was that it was based on the Lords of Chaos book. So when I met him, I said to him, well, you know what? Or actually what happened is, when the book came out, my book, The Death Archives, the first guy I sent it to, where I asked my editor to send it to Jonas Åkerlund to try to make him understand what happened, you know. And then we met, and then we had meetings, and then in the end I saw the movie, and yeah. To tell the truth, it made me very sad. It's a sad movie, you know. But sometimes you like, there's beauty in sadness too, and. But I must say that after the first time I saw it, I felt completely numb, empty, had this, yeah, it was kind of, yeah, maybe that's another word for me trying to say that it all came back in a very bad way for me. So. About the impact of the thing on us, on Mayhem, it was extremely a lot of magazines and TV stations and stuff that called me because they smelled some sensation. LA Times, Daily News, BBC, CNN, ABC, everybody. Even National Geographics, you know, it went completely crazy. And I told all these people that, you know what, I don't want to give the facet on what's right and what's wrong, and you know, I like the people to see it first, and then when you see it, then you can call me back with some intelligent questions about the movie. And then guess what happened? Nobody called me afterwards. Yeah, of course I remember that. It was a band I had called Musta, which means black in Finnish. We played a couple of cover songs, a Motörhead cover, and a couple of songs we made ourselves. You know, next to our rehearsal place, actually, which was an old school where I grew up, in the gymnastic room in the school, where there was a stage, and and they had this thing for young bands, and we was asked if we were interested, and we were, and arrived there, and don't remember if I was nervous or anything, but what I do remember is I met Thomas Seltzer, Happy Tom from Turbo Negro, there. He had a band called Akutt Innleggelse, which means that you are taken straight to the emergency psycho ward. And I remember he was playing his Rickenbacker, but his technique was so bad, so he started to bleed on his hand. And I was thinking, fuck, this is cool as fuck, you know, this punk rocker giving hell, you know, and with his crazy name of the band and everything. Don't remember so much more about it, actually. This is many years ago. This was in 90, let's see, it must have been 1981 or 2, around that time. First thing that comes to mind would be, and I'm sure I pronounce it wrong, Urquell, the Pilsner, which is one of my favorites. One of the first times I played in Prague, I lost my bomber jacket in a bar, got drunk, many years ago. I think maybe 20 years ago or something. 99 maybe? Check it out. Do the roller text. I can't right now remember. It used to be somewhat cheaper than some other European countries. Now when you join the Euro zone, everything seems to be the same. I see some of the stores and stuff that you had, the special national thing, is more disappeared now. It's Mercedes, Lidl, Aldi, it's everything, it's BP, Shell. Unfortunately, it's the globalization. It's taken over a lot of the national special things from nations. Let's say, of course, I love playing at the Brutal Assault Festival. It's a great festival. Thomas is a good friend. Let's see, what else? Can I say that? Yeah, you have beautiful women over here. Can't really come up with anything else right now. I'm sure later on I would think that, fuck, I should have told you guys that this and this, but this is what I came to think of now. I can't tell you.